Welcome to another video of the garden project. Today we're taking a look at the planting process. For the most part, most of these beds were the same. I would remove the plastic, put the bricks that was holding the plastic in place into the wheelbarrow, and then I would use a stirrup hoe on the top layer of dirt just to kind of get out any weeds that may have been growing and to break up the top layer of soil to make it easier to plant. This first bed I did put a hog panel over so that my cucumbers would have a place to trellis, and I also planted tomatoes in this bed as well. You'll see a little bit better here me using the stirrup hoe on this bed and kind of cleaning out any of the larger plant weeds. I also put weed barrier on the first 3 beds, hoping that I could cut down on the weed growth due to there only being 1 plant every foot in the first 3 beds. This bed happens to have peppers growing in it. This is the area that I decided to grow my pumpkins and my spaghetti squash, and I found something interesting.
Hey there, so I just wanted to show you guys something pretty crazy. So last year I had this little compost pile here, and I was moving it between this spot and that spot. And well, I just want to show you guys the difference that a compost pile can make with worms. Look at this dirt. Look at how nice that is. It's all broken up and everything, and nice and dark, and yeah, beautiful. I can guarantee I know what plant is going to do good here. Look at that. And then you come over here, and look at this. Dry, brown. It's just not half as healthy as what that stuff there is. Look at that. Just pulverizes. So I was going to put one of the little squashes over here. However, I've got some giant pumpkins, and I want one of them to get really big. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put that one over there. And as you can see, I got a little row of pumpkins here that are the giant dills. I think I'm going to take those, or take one of those, and plant it right in that hole. And then I will be able to compare and see what the difference is between that hole and one of the other ones with the size of the pumpkin. So that should be interesting. Alright, now back to the time lapse.
Once I got the weed barrier laid out, I ended up putting the trellis over it, and then I used a mini blowtorch to burn holes into the fabric. This bed was planted with Brussels sprouts. This bed here was a little bit easier because I didn't need to worry about how many were planted per square foot, as I planted this one with my kohlrabi. So as long as they were about 4 to 5 inches apart, I was able to plant them pretty simply. This bed here was filled with radishes, which was watermelon and white icicle. A few days later, I came back to finish off the planting. Now, if I do remember correctly, these 3 beds never had anything growing in them last year. So they were definitely a little bit harder to clean out. This first one wasn't too bad. Planted more radishes in this bed along with some carrots. So I got Crimson Giant and Cherry Bell radishes and short and sweet carrots growing in it. Now these last 2 beds were very hard because they had a lot of weeds in them, and it was just a real big pain to try to make sure that I got as much of it out of there as I could. And this one was planted with Siberian improved dwarf kale along with blue Scotch curled. This bed here then was planted with Swiss chard, Ford Hook Giant, and spinach, which was Bloomsdale long standing. This last bed, I only planted half of it because the other half is supposed to already have flowers growing in it, but not sure what's going on with those. But I planted dill, lemon mint, and catnip all in half of this garden bed. Once this was all done, I went in and mowed down all of the grass because I didn't have plastic or brick in the way.
Make sure to hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so that you're notified every time that I put out a new video. And down in the comment section, make sure to tell me what you are growing in your garden this year. Until next time, you have a good one.